In the latest version of Eve, we have added a new feature. So if you're not familiar with Eve, it is our free web-based companion for Visualis3R, and it is designed to allow you to add in your embellishment costs and use it as a talk track with your customer. So what we do here is we don't use AI, we don't take your information, we don't leverage it against anybody else. What you put into this information is entirely yours. There's no tracking, no data scalping, nothing. It's just pure math, and it's basically designed to help the printer and the designer. So if we scroll down, we have the main interface. So let's go through this first of all. So what do we have? So quantity, let's say we're doing 2,000 finished products and I get 4 SKUs per sheet, and I'm using a 3% over, and then I can add in my base setup. So your base setup is basically what you want to charge for your pre-flighting, your make ready, maybe plates or whatever you want to do. Let's just say that's $350. Oh, let's change this to dollars actually, so I was in pounds. So we do pounds, dollars or euros. So then you've got your substrate costs. So let's pretend we're printing this on a metallized material. Let's say it's rainbow holographic, and we're going to do it maybe 85 cents a sheet. So CMYK click cost, this is based if you are a digital based printer, you can put in your click charge for your CMYK. If you're not doing click based, you can switch that to no, and then you could add in down here, add extras, you can put in your own CMYK costs if you want to do it that way. Tooling, so these are one-off costs. So for example, maybe we're going to do embossing. So emboss die. And maybe that's $450 for that. Now that's going to be a one-off cost. So if my customer comes back to me 2 weeks later and says, hey Richard, I need another 1,000 copies of that print run. Well, we're not going to make a new die, so we're not going to charge them again. So it can be a one-off cost. So that's what this section is. And if you have more tooling, die cutting, etc., just add more sections in. Now below that we have special colors. So special color is your 5th, 6th, 7th type color. So we support the white, silver, gold, neon pink, neon yellow, neon orange, neon green, red, blue, green, orange, violet and clear, which is predominantly all of the 5th colour on all of the machines that are out there. So let's say we're doing white. Now what's your click cost? Now these are all fictitious prices, so you put in your own facts and figures. Let's just say that's 10 cents. Now, how many hits of white do you want to do? So the idea with this is that you, as a printer, you can set up your own tried and tested workflow. So you would normally say, I recommend printing with 3 hits of white so that we can set all that up. And let's just say that typically it's a heavy coverage. So if I'm setting up a costing for a job, I can set all this up in this interface. Now, what we're going to show you later on is what the customer sees. Okay, so let's add another color here. Let's add in neon pink. Maybe I'm on a 6 color machine, maybe on the pink I only need 2 hits, and maybe this job's only going to be 25% coverage. Now below that we have some hard-coded in sections. You can either use them if you want, or alternatively you can remove them and add your own. You don't physically need to remove them, but there is a button there if you want to. I'm just going to do it to make sure that on the screen it's clean and easy for you to see. Let's just say we were doing the emboss. Now this is different from the embossed die. So the embossed die is your physical cost of the actual die itself, and this is the actual manufacturing cost. So there's a client description in here, so you can put in a description of what you want the customer to see. So for example, you might say cost to emboss each unit. Let's say that, and then we can toggle this to maybe a unit price and say, I don't know, it's say 7 cents or whatever it's going to be for the embossing per sheet. So this is your manufacturing cost, the physical time and energy it takes you to emboss that sheet, operator, whatever you want to charge. So that's in there. Now moving forward, let's just delete some of the other ones. Let's add in our own unique one. So if you have a unique feature you want to add, let's say for example this is a carton and I need to hand glue it because it's a unique shape and it won't go through my glue machine. So hand gluing. Let's just put something in. So you can put whatever you want, but this is what your customer is going to see. So just put something sensible. Carton held together. I'm just being a bit silly here, but obviously you put in whatever you want the customer to see. And we're going to do this based on a unit price, and again we're going to say it's something like 5 cents per unit. So we can put in all our facts and figures as a printer of what we need to use. So if we scroll up now, we can see that over on the right hand side we've got the base cost. So that is the cost of your substrate, the 4 color inks, and your setup. So it's basically this kind of area here, this top section here is your base cost. Your tooling is that one-off die lines, embossing tools, cutters, etc. And as we see, we've got that at 450. You can obviously see if we switch those on and off, it affects all the pricing. Special colors was the white and the neon pink. And then the embellishments is what we put down here, which is the embossing and the gluing. So we put the gluing at 5 cents. There's 2,000 units. It totals it all up for you and it works it all out. Now, if the customer says, well, actually, I'll glue it myself just to save a little bit of money, well, you can switch that off, and obviously it's removing the pricing. It's not actually removed, it's just switched off, so you can visually show them switched on and off. So as a printer, you get a full total cost breakdown here and price per unit. So that's great. Really great way of being able to see exactly what it costs you for manufacturing your products. Now, you can also copy a summary. So if you copy that summary, let's just see if I can bring this over. I don't know if I can because I'm on a separate screen. Let me just, bear with me, let me just sit full screen. Let's try and keep this separate screen here so we can see it. Let's just bring over an empty document. Okay, so if I do a copy summary and I paste it into a document, you can see here that we have our cost in. So you can basically copy it and send it to whoever you need to send it to. It'll break it all down. So what does it all really mean? Well, it's nice and easy, 85 cents a sheet, click costs, etc. When it gets into special colors, this is the calculation. So it's done a calculation based on the number of sheets, the click charge, the click charge, the hits, etc., and the coverage. It does a calculation, and it's worked out that basically it's going to cost you 22.5 cents per sheet based on what we've put in there. So that's what this formula means. Now, this is where it's interesting for the printer. The printer needs to know this kind of thing. It's like, okay, the neon pink's going to be 5 cents a sheet because we're using 2 hits and it's a coverage of 25%, etc., etc. But really, you don't want your customer seeing all this. This is your private information. You want to really keep it to yourself. And that's where the cool thing comes in now with the new version of the estimator. So before we go any further, we have this mode at the top here. So you can see here, we're in the estimator mode. So I'm now going to toggle that over to client view. So what does the client see? Well, this is the great thing. You can sit down front facing with your customer and say, based on your job, 2,000 sheets, we get 4 up on a sheet. We've got your die cutting in there, you've got your white ink, your neon pink, you've got your embossing and your hand gluing. So all the facts and figures and the totals and all the bits of intricacy that you put in there for hits and costs and clicks and everything is hidden. So your customer doesn't need to see that. You don't need to confuse them with it. All they need to see is the base cost, so you can talk them through it. And you can say, look, if we don't put the pink on this job and we just do it as a 5 color, we can remove it down and your cost per piece has now gone down to 81 cents per sheet rather than 83 cents. Now, if I copy that summary, let's just go and paste that in here. You can see here that this summary is different. So it now only tells you the quantity, the total cost, and the price per piece, and that it includes white ink, neon pink, embossing, and hand gluing. So that is the way that the customer needs to see it. They don't need to know all the ins and outs and everything else that you need to see from your manufacturing perspective. Now, here's the other cool thing. So let's just close that one down. If I now go into my save a PDF, so if I save a PDF file, that's going to go down as an estimate summary. And if we now open that up, we'll now see that on the PDF file, they have just the basic information. So price in dollars, 2,000 units, and the total cost per piece, and what's included. None of the nuts and bolts and all your facts and figures. But if we then switch this back over to the estimator view, and where you now get the full breakdown, your cost of your substrates, the white inks and everything else. Now if we save a PDF file for that, it's the embellishment estimate. We then open that one up and you can see that you now have that full data inside there. So the whole point of this is that you can sit down with your customer without having to go through, this is what we're charging for every click or whatever else. You don't need them to see all the science behind how you charge. You just need them to see the basics. This is what it costs. This is how much extra it's going to be. So if we have 4 extras on there, it's going to add on an extra $831 because of, obviously, in that cost, we've got that die line. Now you can say if we don't want it embossing, we can remove that emboss cost and we can remove this one here. Now we're down to 53 cents. So you can help talk through your customer the benefits of using fifth color embellishments and basically show them what they can get away with. They don't need to know if it's going to take 3 hits of white to get the right whiteness. Just put your facts and your figures in and then have it front facing for your customer view. So there we have it, the newly updated Eve, which is the embellishment value estimator. If you have any suggestions, we're always open to suggestions. This will be a growing thing. It's, like I said, it's free of charge. We think that fifth colors, you're already paying more for fifth color. If we can help you sell it better to your customer, that's what it's all about. So there we go, Eve, the embellishment value estimator.